This is full of it, full of shit. Number 3, episode 3. I'm sitting here in bed. I've got a cup of, well, I can smell it, and I don't think I'm going to like this. Megan got this for me. I say she got it for me. She gave it to me because she didn't like it. So that's an indication that it's going to taste like shit. It's actually jasmine with rose, like a rose flavour, which, you know, you're not supposed to eat roses. I said, isn't this just going to taste like Turkish Delight, which tastes like fucking shite? And she said, well, I don't know, maybe. All right, here goes. Here goes nothing. Turkish Delight is disgusting. Not surprisingly, Nova likes it. Oh, yeah. That is so potent. Actually, oh my God. Okay, so let me explain the setup. Nova was like, oh, make sure you put it on airplane mode or you're going to get all these notifications. And I was like, no, no one messages you, because I'm using her phone to like read notes off of. I'm recording on my phone using Nova's phone for notes. Okay, now we've got that sorted. It does taste like, yeah, Turkish Delight. It's just Turkish Delight, and no one likes that. So if you do like Turkish Delight, you are someone I probably don't want to hang around with. So I've got lots on my mind for this episode of full of shit. We went to a march yesterday. Well, it wasn't so much of a march as a sort of miniature protest. There might have been 200 people there. 200, 300 people there. And it was against Donald Trump. You know, I thought it was an anti-abortion protest. I was there front of the row, you know, with my bloody sign with a sort of baby on it. And, you know, Nova said, what are you doing? That's not right. So that I got into a bit of a sticky wicket. However, once it kicked off, there was this lady. It was so everyone had their signs. Nova made a bloody sign. It said Hitler didn't kill the Jews on day one. Well, that's true, actually. It's something everyone should try and remember. Similar ideas going on in the United States. And so, first of all, she made this bloody sign and she spelled Hitler wrong, which is just hilarious. She put Heiter. She said, right, so I've sort of spelt Hitler wrong. And I was thinking, right, so, you know, it's not many letters in Hitler, but, you know, we are talking about Nova. So he to Heiter. Anyway, when we were there was some lady, and she came around the back of the group and she shouted, I support Donald Trump. Well, you could have heard a pin drop. Everyone stopped, turned around. There was a big group of people around this lady. There were cameras around her. It was just so hilarious because she had on, let me just describe her for you. So she must have been about 60 thereabouts. Very pale, bigger lady. And you know when sort of some people just don't give a shit, they'll pick up a black eyeliner and they'll just sort of scrape it round their eyes. Very, very loose triangle shape. It was very spidery, you know, really cakey mascara. And what else did she have on? She had like a glittery sort of metallic dress, which was so like, why? When she was pairing it with like a receptionist shoe, like a chunky kitten heel black receptionist old lady librarian shoe. And she had like ratty blonde extensions. Anyway, she was so foul and she was just going off. And the next day, the guy that I knew, his name's Jamie, and he will never listen to one of these or even go on our channel. So I know that I can say with authority something, you know, maybe mean about him because he will never hear it. But that's not why we're here. He said, so you must have met Jill. I said, Jill, you know that woman? He was just like, yeah, you know, she was in my creative writing class. She's actually a very nice lady, but she obviously, you know, she has some opinions. So that was funny. And then I put a picture of Nova with her bloody sign on the internet, and people started going off on her. Someone said, don't you bloody, you know, have that sign in my street. I'll shove it in your ass. I don't really know why people had such issue with this. It's a very, very provocative message. It's true. But I think it, you know, it gets the point across. I don't want to talk about Donald Trump particularly in this podcast because how boring. You come here, you know, to hear some light fluff that's, you know, nonsensical and, you know, mildly offensive. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm on board with him. I'm just joking. No, I'm not. I'm going to have some more of this rose brew. It's a rose brew. And it's in one of those bags. I'm staring right at it. It's a pyramid bag, but the bag is like, it's not the sort of, papery tea bag. It's one of those sort of plasticky ones. You get sort of a fancy plastic mesh tea bag that you might have in a sort of fancy, I don't want to say Starbucks, on like a, road, what are they called? A service station or some douchey place. But anyway, they're from Waitrose. So well done, Megan, for shopping in Waitrose. Upper class. It's not unpleasant. The smell is worse. I think it's just jasmine green tea, which is, great. That's fine. Don't ruin it with rose. Why would you buy rose? Anyway, that's gross. You know what I hate? You know what I'm so over? Fucking Sylla. Have you guys ever heard of Sylla? Anyway, she's a singer. Why are you making all these music videos? I mean, what music video are we at now? Hundreds. There's hundreds. We're in 3 figures, and every single one is exactly the same. There's a little girl. She's doing a ridiculous dance, and her wig's fallen in front of her face. They're all exactly the fucking same, Sylla. Stop getting children to do your work for you. That's frowned upon in most circles, actually. So I just wish she would be in a bloody music video herself. And I think it's a bit odd that she still goes for this whole covering your face shtick. Because if you cared, you would just Google it. Because her face is clearly out there. If you didn't know that, just Google Sylla face and it'll be there. Because she used to show a bloody face. I know that she doesn't want to be famous, and that's fine. But she sort of already showed her face, so people know what she looks like. So it's sort of, I don't know, it seems a bit odd to me. Yeah, I don't really get it. Anyway, Sylla. I do like Sylla, I have to admit. I was walking down, the road, as any great story starts. And I realised, I've got a playlist here, and it's basically just all Sylla. Alright, yes, there is a slew of shit. There's a lot that you need to sort of get past. I don't care for Fire and Gasoline. With Heidi Klum in the video. I didn't care for that one. There are some shockers. I really like Broken Glass. I think that was on This Is Acting. Nova doesn't like that one. I play it all the bloody time. But I do care for that one. If she ever came to, this country, I'm sure she will. I'm sure she has. I'd love to go and see her. We are going to see Anastasia in, I think, March or sometime. Nova got me tickets to see Anastasia. She's coming. We're going to the Bournemouth International Centre. I can't wait. She's very sort of, Anglophile, Anastasia. She was certainly more successful in this country than she was in her native, United States. She was the bird with the sort of wang voice and the orange glasses. And she sang One Day in Your Life. Oh, she was so great. What other hits of hers included? I'm out of love. I won't do the impression. I can't do it. But she is someone that I've, liked for a very long time. So I'm very excited about that. But, also, I'm just going to... This is a perfect segue into my next section. I miss Desperate Housewives. There's no segue at all. Absolutely no segue. I've got notes and I'm just going to go through each of them and you can suck it. I just want to say, by the way, I am going to read through all the comments of the last podcast at the end of this. And I'm also going to get to my creepy... I've decided I'm going to do a segment. And it's going to be like creepy, weird, not a conspiracy, maybe a conspiracy or a creepy Wikipedia article or some creepy, weird shit. Because I think people love to listen to that stuff. God knows I love reading it. There's no God. Okay. So... where was I? Desperate Housewives. I've had a bit of a moment recently in the past week where I've sort of really missed TV shows when they were more of an event, when it was not so easy to consume so much TV in such a quick amount of time. Now that we have Netflix, there's a brand new thing, all the time, and you watch the whole thing and it's done with. And you sort of move on to the next one. They're very sort of disposable TV shows nowadays. We're watching Schitt's Creek at the moment, which is just hilarious. It's one of my new faves. But it's, they're very short. It is still a light-hearted piece of fluff. Before that, it was Santa Clarita Diet, which is also a great one. Very Netflixy funny short ones. Oh, my nose has gone a bit funny. Maybe it's because I'm lying in a weird position. I always end up with a sort of nose. But beg your pardon. I'm still here. I'm just gonna have some rose shit. I will drink these. I think it'd be a waste. So, but I miss when TV was, a big event. Do you even remember? And of course you remember. If you're listening to this, of course you remember. Because you're in my sort of inner circle. That sort of pop culture sort of circle that I sort of, am, in and I embrace. And that's sort of people that like trashy shit. And you will remember the premiere episode of Lost, which I think at the time was one of the most expensive, or if not the most expensive pilot ever. And it might, to this day, might be. Maybe I'm going to look that up, actually. I know at the time it was. Oh, so you got to get into Nova's phone. She's got 6 bloody digits for her password thingy. Right, here we go. Most expensive pilot. But do you remember how, incredible that opening episode of Lost was with the plane? And that was a real water cooler moment. I feel like you don't really have water cooler moments anymore. I think maybe the only TV show to currently have that kind of hold on the world, that sort of grip, is Game of Thrones. I feel like that's the only one that people really still, oh my god, did you see it? And we've started watching Game of Thrones, but I'm not that into it. I think it's because I can't figure out who the fuck is who between your Cersei's Dionysus. I don't know who the shit that is. Is that a person? I don't know. Alright, here we go. 11 most expensive TV shows ever produced. Wait, but what does that mean? That's not... here we go. The most expensive TV pilot. 20 million price... What? 20 million? What, for that one episode? Steven Spielberg's Dinos and Time Machines drama, Terra Nova. Terrible Nova? What is that TV show? Hang on a second. Let's rewind. Is this old or new? Steven Spielberg has got a TV show about time travel and dinosaurs. Oh, how do we find this? 20 million. Okay, well, Lost was one of them. It says here that the Lost was about 14 million. I guess that's maybe an average per episode. I've lost everyone with my talk of figures and numbers. We'll find out about that Steven Spielberg show, though. That sounds amazing. I think Lost, without being one of those assholes 10 years ago, it sort of got lost, because by the end, it really was, I think they sort of took advantage of people because they knew they had a good thing going, and they knew people were going to watch regardless because the cast was so good and it started out so strong. It was just full of mystery and intrigue, and who doesn't love a good plane crash show, about like people stranded? Who doesn't love that? People trying to survive. Castaway, is on every bloody Christmas. It was on, at one point, Castaway was on BBC Two like every week. I swear to God, there is no God. Sorry, it sounds so mean that I say that, if you believe, then that's great. You will when you believe, Mariah and Whitney. Okay. Can't believe, I even ended up talking about Mariah and Whitney what were we talking about? Lost, that's right. Well, originally it was Desperate Housewives, can you remember? God, I need locking up. This is just so tragic. So, Desperate Housewives was another one of those, shows that were so big and everyone had to get involved. And this really was when sort of Blockbuster was starting to die out. Maybe about 10 years ago, when I can remember... my brother and I would sit and watch a horror movie that we had ordered on, I think it was Netflix, when Netflix used to be a service where they sent DVDs in the mail. Did they do that to begin with? I believe that's right. They used to be one of those people that would send you DVDs in the mail, and then it became a web thing. Oh, am I thinking of Love Film? Someone correct me on that. I don't know. But we used to do that. And I think they still do that. But it seems a bit sort of moot to me that would even be a service that people provide anymore. They send you a DVD in the mail. Why would you not just make it sort of a streaming thing? I guess people who don't have internet access, but like, do people really not have internet access these days? Also, no, how would you be able to order them if you didn't have internet access? No, I smell a fish there. That's not a saying at all. I suppose people could go to their library and order something, and then they would go home and it would be there. That sounds like an absolute nightmare situation. Who goes to the library? Oh, speaking of, I've started reading a book. So that's over with. I miss Lost and I miss Desperate Housewives, who were our favourite characters on both of those TV shows. I personally liked Lynette Scartho. You know what, though? I watched Desperate Housewives back somewhat recently, a few years ago. My favourite used to be Lynette, especially because of the supermarket episode. It was called Bang, when she has the showdown with Carolyn Bigsby, who goes and shoots up the supermarket. That was the most intense. And Nora gets shot in the chest. Spoiler alert, but Nora dies in that episode. That was so sad, actually. That whole thing was so dramatic. It was nominated for all sorts of shit, and the score was amazing. But I watched it back, and I feel like Lynette... I feel like Tom broke up with her for a good reason in the last season, because she was very whiny. She had no chill. She was very neurotic, I think. She sort of was very controlling and pissy. If she didn't get her own way, she was pissy. She had no chill. All right, she had, 7 children to look after, but don't have the fucking children to begin with if you don't want them. And they all began with a P. I don't know why people do that. All your kids start name with the same. Oh God, it's so nauseating. Anyway, loved her. I think my favourite season of Desperate Housewives was the one where Alfre Woodard keeps her son in the basement. That was a great season. And I guess the Catherine Mayfair one was good. Who was great in that was Brie Vanderkamp and her hot son. What was his name? Andrew. She used to be so breathy, didn't she? Rex, well, I don't know what to say about that. That was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I'm so sorry. What did she do when... he was like, Brie, you poisoned me with the onions. Well, I feel badly about that. Brie. I had the Desperate Housewives PC game. Oh my God, it was so bad. Dreadful it was, dreadful. Although, what was funny about that? When I was going to be birthed by my mother, birthed, I was... they had dabbled with names, and if I was, really born a female, this is when the whole characterization breaks down. If I was really born a female, they were going to call me Catherine. So when I, started my Desperate Housewives, I thought, I'll go with Catherine, I'll do that. And then lo and behold, that was the game. Season 3 or 4 rolled around, and then there really was a Catherine, and I thought, oh my God, I should sue those bastards, copyrightinfringement.com. Okay, so where were we? Right, that's that. And on Lost, I really liked Sun. Sun was the Korean bird who secretly spoke English. I thought she was great. Who I couldn't stand? And to this day, I find her really jarring, which you might think is bizarre. Emily DeRavin, I don't know how you say her name. Claire, she played Claire. She was the Australian chick who you might be like, oh, why didn't you just love her? I didn't. She was whiny as well. You're hurting me, Charlie. Do you remember Charlie? Yeah, Charlie was an odd one. You either liked him or you just absolutely did not like him. So I have started reading. I've become a different person in the last week. I've picked up a book and I've joined the gym. What happened to me? God, I feel very nasal. I do apologise. I'll have some more rose blossom. Don't check your connection, I'm still here. So, yes, the book I'm reading is a book that it's basically the only book I ever read. I'm very weird. I only have 4 books and I read them all. Once every few years I'll read them all. It's called All American Boy. Actually, this would be fascinating. I wonder if anyone else has ever read this book. I used to go to the library. Can you imagine if this wasn't recording? Let's just check. Okay, great. I used to go to the library when I was younger, maybe a teenager. I would get on a bus, I would go into Croydon, I'd go to the Croydon Library, and I would just sit in a corner and I would read, maybe, of an afternoon, and I'd go home again. And no one would ever know. I just found it very sort of, kind of relaxing and sort of, I don't know, sort of lost in your own sort of little world. It was my sort of little space. I liked to go there. I hate myself for it. What a dick. Who does that? Library people are weird. Anyway, and I would go in the corner and I remember I went and read Carrie all in one go. It's not a very long book. Is it a short story? I can't remember. It's very short. But I picked up this one book. It was in the gay interest. I could remember picking around the gay interest books, hoping some hot shit would walk past and be like, oh, yes, I'm here too, browsing the gay interests. And I'd be like, do we have gay interests? Anyway, you can see where that storyline's going. That's a cheap porno. So I picked up this book. It's called All American Boy. It's by someone called William J. Mann. I've not read any of his other books because they just look like sort of softcore, like erotica, I don't know. But this one is about a guy, an all-American guy, growing up in his very, very American town. His father was was a soldier in the war, and his mother was sort of a very prim and proper sort of American lady, and there was expectations of him to grow up to be, the all-American boy, basically, and very masculine and, sporty and stuff, but all he wanted to do was, dress like the witch from the Wizard of Oz, and was just so gay, and ended up having a thing with an older guy, and ended up putting him in jail because obviously there was a statutory rape pedo situation. So he comes back to this town years later because his mother she's got sort of, she's going loopy. Has she got Alzheimer's? And you're not sure based on her perspective if she's killed someone in the family. So he's helping that situation out. He wants to also go and see the old dude who he used to sort of fondle with. And there's a lot of backstory about, the mother who used to be sort of a singer in the sort of 50s with her sister, and how she's lost all of her youth and vitality, and is lost her marbles and was sort of, abused by the husband, and he's just like, oh, I'm so gay. Have I sold it to you? And what else is there? There's a bit about how he's called Walter. He used to go and, his parents thought he was going and playing, baseball with all the other guys, but really he was sneaking off to this old lady's house so he could, rehearse, do plays with her. But on one occasion, the lady died, and he would go back every weekend to check that the body was still there. Oh, it's a great story about revisiting the town that you left, but you left all your baggage there. Not real baggage, you would leave with luggage, obviously. You left your emotional baggage there. I would implore you to read this book. Okay, listen, it's a bit shit. And there's a few cheeky, dirty shit in there. The word cock is in there, actually. I won't read it, but it's in there. So be prepared for that. Page 2. When you're in Croydon Library, you don't expect to read that. But anyway, it's a very, very poignant book. I think there's a lot in there. There's a lot of issues going on in there, and I really like it. I've got nothing to compare it to because I don't read, but there's one book I do. So I think you should go and, try and find it. It's called All American Boy, William J. Mann. Is that his name? Let's go with that. Okay, so there's that. Now, I've got a list of topics here, and I have just so far avoided the absolute lot of them. Shall I just get to the creepy thing that I want to talk about? The creepy Wikipedia thing. Now, basically, there's some things that I've been looking at online recently. Obviously, there's the, creepypasta or whatever it is, list of creepy Wikipedia articles, which you can go through and you can be there for hours and hours. Some of them are less interesting. There's the one about the Dyatlov Pass incident, which was sort of in the realm of a bunch of people go to the Dyatlov Pass, which I believe, if I'm saying that correctly, probably not, it was, probably still is, in the mountains. They were found, one of them sort of left in the middle of the night, and they were discovered, several days later or whatever. None of them had any clothes on, they were frozen to death. There were some weird things, like one of them was missing a tongue, stuff like that. I think stuff like that, it's somewhat less interesting, because I think if you really apply sense to it, I think they probably just died from hypothermia, and then maybe some sort of wildlife, bits off them. I don't know. It's very grim. But that one comes up a lot of times in creepy stuff. And that one to me isn't as creepy. It's obviously, horrifying. And, you can sort of break a lot of stuff down. But I think that one is not as... I think there's a thing when you get so cold. This is a true thing, by the way. When you get so cold and you have, like, hypothermia, it goes completely the other way around, and you become almost hot. You feel hot. You're so cold, you actually feel quite hot, and I don't know what it's called, I can't remember, but people have been known to remove their clothes because they think they're burning up, but really, obviously, they're just about to die. And that would explain why they didn't have any clothes on, etc., etc. There's that one, and then on the other end of the scale, the most fascinating one to me is the story of Dr. Karl Tanzler. And if you know about Dr. Karl Tanzler, you know what I'm about to talk about is the most horrific, disturbing thing ever. This is just all from the list of creepy Wikipedia articles. There's absolutely hundreds. The other thing is the BuzzFeed Blue videos, which a couple of guys, I just don't know their names, but one of them's so cute, the Asian dude. They talk about creepy stuff. And then he's somewhat of a believer in sort of supernatural, or wants to sort of break stuff down. The other guy he's usually with is the skeptic, who's like, right, well, clearly this happened and this happened. They make for a great dynamic, actually. So I implore you to also check out BuzzFeed Blue videos. A lot of BuzzFeed is fucking hot air. Like, a lot of it is basic bullshit, but those ones I really like, because I love a creepy story. So the Dr. Karl Tanzler thing, was it Carl or Eric? I can't remember. He might have had several names. Is a story about a doctor who I think was operational in the 20s. Might have been slightly earlier, slightly later. It's sort of early 20th century style. And I think he's operating out of Southern America. Very southern. I don't know what state it was. But the girl who's, this story is about was in a family. I think they were some kind of, were they Latin American or, Puerto Rican, I can't remember. Her name was like Elena Maria. Now, I'm remembering all of this from memory, by the way. I've read this so many times. De Hoyos or something. I can't remember a bloody name. But the point was, this was a time when people died from tuberculosis, which, by the way, I find fascinating that, or consumption as it was called. It's what Nicole Kidman died of in Moulin Rouge. It's what, oh my God, Nicole Kidman died of in... No, she didn't die of it in the others. The maid staff died of tuberculosis in the others. Sorry, spoiler alert, it's all over the place. But it was, very common in this time for people to just drop dead from tuberculosis. And who did die of that is Vivian Leigh, who was in Gone with Wind and Streetcar Named Desire. But it was way past a time when there was a cure for it. So I find that weird now that people die from it still occasionally. It's very rare. I think you're given a shot when you're a baby. But this young woman died of this. Most of her immediate family died of tuberculosis, I believe. And this guy was so in love with her. I think at the time he was well into his 40s, 50s. And she was looking at being 16, 17, thereabouts. So it's obviously creepy from that fucking point of view. And he tried so desperately to save her. God, this is going to get so good. I need to have some more sort of rose piss. Oh, God. I shouldn't have left the bag in. That was strong. Go back for more. So, where the hell was I? I mean, where the hell are you in this story? Tried so desperately to save her. All sorts of remedies. Paid, so much attention to this family, and basically didn't save her, didn't have a cure for her, so she died, unfortunately, very young. She was very beautiful. I think she might have won a local sort of beauty pageant, or was certainly regarded as being incredibly beautiful. And so he had fixated on this chick, and after she died and was buried, I think maybe in a mausoleum, he broke in and stole her corpse, took her home, and tried to preserve her. Now, there are actually pictures of this on the internet. I believe the pictures of her preserved corpse are on Wikipedia. It's not like I've gone searching for this creepy shit. It's on Wikipedia. It's not so much that she was preserved, because again, he was obviously a shite doctor because he couldn't preserve shit. He actually, I think her hair, well, I don't know that much about decomposing corpses, but I think he tried to make a wig from her hair. Oh my God, this is so disturbing. He covered her skin in sort of like wax paper or plaster of Paris or whatever it is, and basically made a mask and drew a really crude face over her face. It's so fucking disturbing. And sort of dressed her up, and then just like doused her in perfume to stop her smelling like, dead. And I believe he just slept with her, like lived with this corpse for a long time, until somehow, the story got out, and the family asked to sort of have him checked out, and he was obviously arrested and done for disturbing a grave, sleeping with a corpse. There's a whole bunch of reasons, but I don't think he served that much time in jail, because maybe there wasn't that much, he didn't kill her. Maybe there wasn't that much sort of penalty for doing that. And to make things worse, obviously you're going to have to go and read this yourselves, correct me. I think maybe he wasn't allowed to have her corpse afterwards. I think they've still got that, but he was, I think maybe visited by family, or I don't know. I think he sort of went not as punished, and you'd sort of ostracize him. I don't think that it went down that route. I think maybe people still spoke to the man. Anyway, that is a great one. I didn't intend to talk about either of those two incidents, but let me know if you guys are fascinated by those, and also, what are your favourite creepy Wikipedia articles? I have probably read all of them. If you can find me one that is something I've not read and I'm genuinely creeped out by it, I will award you with a sort of shout out of sorts, where I will just say you're a winner. You're a winner. So, well, that's going to be a challenge for you. The one I want to talk about is one that I remembered very recently. I've thought of another one. You know what? I'll talk about that one afterwards. God damn it. This is going to be some great content. Okay. So I've just remembered. I did remember the other day a story about some twins. And I had forgotten this, and I just couldn't believe that I'd forgotten it, because it's fascinating. There's some weird shit out there about twins. Now, my friend Megan's a twin. She's the one that gives me all the tea, and all the good loving. So, she's a twin, and she's obviously very strange. So that's, one set of weird twins. But they are weird twins. There were those Eastern European twins, the blonde ones, who just ran in front of traffic together. They just couldn't stop running in front of traffic. I don't really remember what that one was about. But the one I'm talking about, I believe their names were June and Jennifer Gibbons. Now, one of them is still alive, and this will be... Oh, what the fuck was that? Oh my God, something fell off. Oh, it was Nova's bloody phone. I should... well, I didn't... No, she won't listen to this, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, Nova, I dropped your bloody phone. Damaged. This will become important later on, the fact that one of them is alive and one of them is dead. So the first thing that I think you need to know about June and Jennifer Gibbons is that they, I think, originally were from the Caribbean, and they moved to Wales. Was it Wales? I'm pretty sure it was Wales. Which, there have been some decisions in human history, but to move from the Caribbean to Wales, you've got to be pretty fucked up in the head. You're fucked up. Hi Wales. Sorry, Wales. That sounds mean, but you guys are on board with me, aren't you? It's the same with England, more or less. I mean, whatever. So these twins had a sort of secret, not necessarily language. I don't know what the word is. Is it a Creole, or they had a way of communicating noises and sounds and stuff. They had a way of communicating with each other that only they could understand. No one knew what the fuck they were talking about. And to make things worse, they just refused to speak to anyone. This is all the twins did. They would just speak in this weird tongue. They refused to speak to anyone, and they were really shy and reclusive. And when they were a bit older, I don't know how old they were, one of them killed themselves. Now, I can't remember how she did it. Or, no, you know what it is? No one knew how she did it. I think she just died, and people were like, how the hell did they die? I can't remember if it was June or Jennifer, but one of them just died. Just dead in the water. But the thing is, they had planned that one of them would die. It wasn't like, oh my God, what happened to my twin? It came to light that one of them said, and this was afterwards when she spoke to people, when the one twin died, I believe, she started speaking to people, and she said, well, you know what? We decided that in order for me to live, she had to die. In order for one of us to live, the other one had to die. So how they had that conversation with each other in that weird voice, I don't know. So that one twin died a long time ago when she was a lot younger. And now the other twin, I think, lives in Australia. Oh, God. Is it Australia somewhere? I don't know. Listen, the geography of all these stories is probably way off. That's not the point. I'm getting the gist of the story. So that is fascinating to me. Now, just why did one of them have to die? That's not true. That can't be true. Psychologically, just break them up. See what would have happened then. God, the world would have imploded. Does anyone know the story of June and Jennifer Gibbons? The other one that I just remembered is another great one. This one takes place in, again, I think maybe the early 20th century. I think maybe a bit later than that, actually. All this weird shit happened then. Oh, what's this? We've been tweeted. Who's this? I've only just discovered I can watch YouTube on the TV. Now I can piss off my parents and watch Olympia and Nova. Hello, Lauren. You get your own personal shout out because you tweeted during this. And you also bloody ruined the story, so there's that. Yes, so all this creepy shit seems to be happening at the same period of time. In history. Someone write an essay about that. They say, don't they, all ghosts are from like the Victorian period or early, shit. That's when all the ghosts are from. You don't get like modern day ghosts. This is about a bunch of children who, and by the way, if you don't want me to talk about creepy, conspiracy, weird, creepy shit, we can talk about something else, next time. That's fine too. This is about a family called the Sodder family, and I think they would become known as the Sodder children, because what happened is this couple, who had 10 children, by the way, so, that alone is effed up. I believe it was Christmas Eve, there was a fire at their house, and I think one of the kids would say that when this fire broke out just before, or maybe the night before, she would hear someone walking on the roof. And she didn't say until afterwards that seemed a bit fishy. But basically, history would show that it looked as if someone set fire to this family's house. This is a true story. And it would appear that they had checked all the wiring and shit, not that long ago when it happened, and all the wiring was up to code, all the electrics and stuff, but that's what they blamed it on eventually, even though that they had been given the A-OK. So that's weird. Someone set fire to this family's house, so it took a long time for fire department to arrive. I believe maybe it's because they were Christmas Eve, they were like, no, we're not doing shit, but it took an incredibly long time for this fire department to get to this burning house. by which time the entire house was just burnt to the ground. Now, half the children managed to get out, so 5 of them did. I think maybe the father went back in to check the others but couldn't find them, but basically 5 of them got out. And, you know, given the god-awful job of having to go back into the house afterwards to find the 5 dead, you know, kids, they found nothing. So, you know, they found some burnt sort of appliances and some burnt furniture and stuff, which indicated that there should have been remains. You know, even if, you know, bodies are cremated, there's still the occasional bits and fragments, I believe. And I think this is certainly the case with this house. There should have been remains of people. If there were people left in the house, as horrendous as it is. So, these 5 children were essentially kidnapped. But I want to know, I think that's what people generally think, is that they were kidnapped. And the family, you know, put rewards out all over the place. Have you seen these children? And I think, you know, decades later, people would claim to have seen some of these kids. Or maybe, you know, did they receive a photograph in the mail with a letter saying, I'm one of them? That's the bit I want to know, is really how many of the sightings they had of these kids. But the big question is, you know, did they run away? Whatever. How do you kidnap 5 children of varying ages? Some of them were probably quite big. How do you kidnap 5 children without anyone noticing? Okay, let's say, for example, you kidnap 1 and you get him outside and you say to your accomplice, oh my God, no one bloody noticed. How's the 10? No one noticed. That's great. Let's go back for another one. How do you do that 5 times and have no one notice? No screaming, no noise, you know. Do you set the fire downstairs and then... But they all must have been in a similar place. Bedrooms are close together, especially if there's 10 kids. And presumably some of them slept in the same room. So how do you kidnap 5 kids? That would obviously, you know, lead you to believe that they ran away. But then also, why would they then claim to be them later on? Maybe they were fraudulent claims to get money. It's a very sad situation either way, how you look at it, because there's unanswered stuff. People's lives were ruined. You know, imagine those 5 other kids as well. Like, what happened to them? The ones that survived. What happened to them? Answers on a bloody postcard. That one actually is probably the most fascinating out of a lot that I've just spoken about. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because there's so many, but that one is particularly grim. What happened? I don't know. Do you know? Well, you know, kids, if you're listening... If you're listening, then let me know. There might be some of that prize money still floating around. Prize money, like it's a game show. It's not prize money. So, what have you guys been up to? I really want to watch that movie about Christine Chubbuck. It's called Christine. It's got Rebecca Hall in it. I really want to watch that. Actually, just petering out of this topic of creepy weird shit then, I'm really glad they're doing a movie about Christine Chubbuck, because I have read her Wikipedia article. I've read as much information about her as there is. At least bloody 10 years ago. I've always found her fascinating, so that they're making a movie, that's so cool. I think it's doing really well as well, and Rebecca Hall is a great actress. She was in The Awakening, which is a horror movie set in a house that you should definitely check out. I think Imelda Staunton's in that as well. It's a great movie. She's a great actress. And if you don't know who Christine Chubbuck was, you should read about her, because she's fascinating. I don't think it's much of a spoiler. I mean, if you know nothing about her, then maybe watch the movie and don't listen to the next couple of minutes of what I'm going to say. But she died in the 70s, and you know, people know about her, so I guess it's not really a spoiler. It's probably the whole point of the movie is about what happened to her. She was a news anchor, a very low-level cable local news bird, and she had a program, I think it was called Seacoast Digest. It was very, middle of the road. You know, she would talk to people about, like, the local water board, or it was just so, you know, boring and awful. But I think she was always pressured to come up with ideas for stories that were more gruesome. She'd always, because the big tagline is, if it bleeds, it leads. So she was always so disgusted, I think, with the sort of sensationalist, journalism that she was sort of drawn into, having to cover, murders or, and making it really sort of glamorous at the same time. She thought there was no integrity in it, and it was gross, basically, I think was her, issue. So what Christine Chubbuck did is she took to her live show and she made a speech, and it said something along the lines of, in keeping with Channel 5 or whatever the channel was, in keeping with Network 5's remit of bringing you the latest in blood and guts, you're about to see something new and exciting, an attempted suicide. And she got out a gun and she shot herself in the head live on television. And this footage was thought to be lost, but apparently a couple of years ago it was proven to exist, but it is in a private collection, so obviously you can't get hold of it. But she killed herself on air. Now, she didn't die straight away. She was taken to a hospital, but she did die. So essentially, yes, she did kill herself. And left a sort of legacy of intrigue, and it's actually quite a shame because it didn't really change anything. I think, her message was obviously very powerful. People want to see shit like that. People want to see gore and sex and violence. It's just the way humans are. People are interested in that sort of shit, as grim as it is. People have morbid curiosities, clearly, because I love reading about, sort of sleeping with corpses. If you've just joined us at this point, then you should rewind and listen to how that would make sense. It fits in. It's fine. It's not weird at all. So it's a shame because I guess nothing really happened. People didn't stop reporting that way. We still have live car chases, and you rack up statistics on network news channels about mass shootings, and it's like a competition sort of thing. So yeah, it didn't really do much. It's a shame. I think she left more in the way of mystery, because there really is very little on her. That in terms of footage of her, there must be loads, really, if you think about it. But I guess as the years have gone on, because she died in the 70s, I think, so as the decades have gone on, less and less has trickled its way onto like YouTube. But there's a few clips. I think Rebecca herself even said that the only sort of reference she had to go on for this character, this Christine, was about 11 minutes worth of footage or something very short. There's not much on her at all. There's a documentary about her where there's a few family members that talk about her, but I think it's sad that there's more mystery than there is sort of answers about Christine Chubbuck. But again, read about her. She's a fascinating character. I can't wait to see this movie. I think it's going to be good. I think it's doing all the festivals it's doing well. I should really get to the comments. I've just knocked the phone, so that might sound a bit weird. Okay, I'm going to get to the comments from the last episode of Full of Shit. Listen to me, I'm great at multitasking. Whilst I'm loading this, I will just offer you a small opinion of mine. I don't find, and this is where everyone's going to suddenly turn off and never listen to me ever again, I don't find Bianca Del Rio very funny. People are screaming. I think she's obviously, one of the most intelligent Drag Race contestants, certainly, but drag queens out there at the moment. She can book a whole theatre, and I think she's the humour, it's aggressive, and it's very Joan Rivers, and people love that. People love to be shocked, but I've never actually laughed at a Bianca Del Rio joke. I don't think the word I would use is overrated. I don't think that's right. I wanted her to win her season. She's incredibly polished. There's not a thing out of place. But I don't know if... And also, Hurricane Bianca was dog shit. And I know she didn't write that herself. which she probably should have done, actually, because I think that movie was abysmal. And you guys can go ahead and say, yes, it was amazing. It bloody wasn't. It was rough as ass. There was not a single joke in there. It was dreadful. Yes, there was a great, morality to it. Does anyone else agree with me? That was not a good movie, you guys. Let's call a spade a spade. But, yeah, I don't find her very funny. I don't know. I think, a lot of her shit is like, Mexicans never pay their bills. All right, well, that's great. Okay, I'm going to listen to the second podcast. It was called Steps Were Crap. I think I'm going to call episode 3, I don't know, creepy shit. There are 67 comments, so I will try and get through this quickly. Eclectic. Anyone else think the opening tune is a pure banger? It is such a banger. I literally listen to it all the time. William Wren. How do you not like Miranda Hart? Awkward. M Space 54. Yes, please. Creepy, scary, mysterious topics would be fabulous. Well, I hope you liked a lot of this stuff that I've been talking about. There are so many. I will try and, do a lot more next time. David Harper, driving to work in the morning would be so much better if Olympia did the Radio 1 breakfast show. Can you imagine if people wouldn't eat breakfast listening to me? They'd spit out their ready break in absolute horror and disgust. Izzy B100, can this be a regular thing? Well, I'm doing one right now, so please calm down. Don't take that time with me. Thanks a lot. William, another one. God, loads of comments from you, William. Can you talk about North Korea in your next podcast? You know what? I should have read these before the bloody podcast, because I love North Korea, as in like talking about it, researching it. It is fascinating to me. So, William, I'm going to make a note. North Korea for next time. You got it. Violet Evans, those tits hot shit. Thank you so much, proud member of the Novympia cult. Join the Novympia cult and become an arsehole. Shane Dawson, fucking Jewish counsellor. Well, I am, something of a counsellor if you listen to me and decide that I'm saying something worthwhile in your lifestyle. I suppose I would be a counsellor. I'm such an arsehole. Katie, love these. Thanks, chick. Your hair looks nice. Sarah Joseph, that's right, baby. New episode. Well, there's a lot of praise here. This is just lovely. Luke Hollis, I totally agree that some people who share Rick lax deserve some non-consented X-lax. Okay, basically, I don't understand what that means. I think Rick Lax is the magic guy. Magic, I use that term very loosely. The algebra. He's the bloody algebra guy. Yeah, he's a douchebag. Can't stand him. Josh, Olympia, my question is, how does it feel to be so fabulous, fierce, and amazing? Well, I would never use those words. But thank you for those words. That's very kind. It feels right. Okay, well, that's Greek. Can't read that. Antonis. Olympia, Paul, the Premier Ministry. Thanks so much. I agree. Orange Kite. This is nice to listen to while I do my uni work. Your voice is rather soothing. I think maybe when you've got a blocked nose, and I only really have a blocked nose when I do this podcast because I'm talking endlessly with my head sort of sideways on a radiator. Maybe you do have a soothing voice, but thanks, that's nice to know. Stuart MacArthur, can you submit your annual leave form now for the Drag Race cruise? I'd love that. I tell you what, Stuart, if we do a Patreon account so that we can quit our jobs and make videos like every day, well, would you donate $1 a week for this shit? Would people donate $1 a week? And then we can go on the Drag Race cruise and drink booze. So basically give us money for alcohol. That would be great. That's so nice of you guys to get involved. Okay. Idiot Flower Girl. Amen, sister. Thanks. Yes. And you also put, let's find these in iTunes. This podcast is available on iTunes and Whooshka. Whooshka is a podcast service on the internet. It's spelled W-H... I think it's WHOOSK, and then it might be AA. You can search for it in Google, but that's a really great little way of doing it if for some reason you can't use iTunes. So it's YouTube, iTunes, and Whooshka. Got the notification for this and thought, I need a bathtub. Come in the bath with me, Olympia. Share your wisdom. Oh my God, D, you're getting into the bathtub. I wish that I could get into the bathtub with someone else, but generally speaking, I can barely get into it myself. So thank you for that, Sean Ballard. I'm currently on a 13-hour journey. I save this to listen to it on said journey. Completely worth it. Trying to hold my laughs in so I don't annoy the other passengers. Oh my God, that makes my heart sing. Makes my heart sing. I thought there was going to be a song there, but I couldn't think of anything. So thanks, Sean. That's beautiful. Eclectic Diaries, so glad to be one of the first assholes in Novympia cult. Well, that's great. You are an asshole. Thanks for being here. Jay Bogo, I'm an American and half this shit makes no sense at all. What the hell is tea? I don't care. Proud Novympia asshole. And puffin. Loved every minute of it. Tea. You know what tea is? Tea? I'm an American. Half the shit makes no sense at all. But are you human? I feel like everyone drinks tea. People in America drink tea, right? You guys have tea. Don't be daft. Monochrome. I see what you did there. Another amazing podcast from our esteemed leader. Oh my God, stop it. You guys really are sort of, in a cult. Is the blonde Nova watches Trisha Paytas? What do you mean? Oh, I remember that. I think it might be. Is she sort of curvy? If so, yeah, I think that is that bird. I didn't care for her. Sometimes you just need to watch something that makes you realise your life just isn't that bad. Sisters of Novympia. Well, there you go. Praise that. Olympia, this is Rosario Vamp. When are you going to put this on iTunes? I love listening to it. I think it could be beef at the gym. You listen to us at the gym. I joined the gym the other day. We could, you do a podcast and I'll listen to your podcast at the gym, and then we can have Inception Gym. Oh my God, I've just had a stroke, I think, trying to figure out what I was trying to say. Okay, it's the pens. Hands down the greatest Sylla impression of all time. I don't know what you mean. I don't actually do a Sylla impression. And I'm not going to do it now. I think I'm not going to do it. Two dickheads in a cupboard just saying, what does that mean? Surprise, surprise! I couldn't help myself. Nova can hear me downstairs and she wants to kill me. I don't know what you mean by the cupboard thing. Did I say that? Anyway, Sandra Johnson. The show in the States was called The Dating Game. Oh, Sylla. We're having another conversation about Sylla. One guy that was chosen out turned to be a serial killer. No fucking way. You've got to be shitting me. I need to read about that immediately. TV shows that Sandra loves include Lucifer. Never heard of that. Blacklist. Never heard of that. Hannibal. That's the guy from Casino Royale. Vikings and Archer. I don't know any of those. I've never heard of those. I'm sure they're all great. I'm not saying you got terrible taste, but never heard of them. And by the way, I adore you. I adore you too, Sandra. Thanks for being here. I like your little cute giraffe picture there. Courtney Act. I've got a feeling that's not the real Courtney Act. Will you girls do a wig tutorial? I mean, Nova's done some wig shit. Nova's done some tutorial shit. I might do one about how I bump my hair, because people have asked how I do that. And it's really the most straightforward thing in the world. There's no wig shit going on. I just stick a sock under my wig cap. Does no one else do that? Okay, it makes the wig a bit hard to put on, because then the wig cap, the wig cap is actually really small, but it works fine. I'll do a video. Sean Sprit. Oh my God, if you ever play the Snatch game, you have to be Sylla. I feel like I might do a good Sylla. I don't know that much about her. I think I would do a great Ina Garten of the Barefoot Contessa. Who wouldn't want that? I'm going for hot dogs at the pond with my friend Arnold. Yikes. But I'm going to turn the volume up. I just love the Barefoot Contessa theme. I'm going to lip sync my ass off to the Barefoot Contessa theme. Lip syncing the roll of the piano. Okay. Victor M. Love this podcast. Keep up the awesome work. Hi from Fresno. I'd love to go to Fresno. Thank you, Victor. That was cute. Strikna Vomica, which obviously is a name. That Sylla impersonation was hilarious. Oh my God, thank you so much. It's so cute. I mean, it was great. Yeah, I know. Joseph Portman, will you be performing at Bournemouth Pride this year? If you are, then I'll be taking a road trip to Bournemouth Pride. Joseph Portman, I'll save a drink for you, because yes, we will be there. We were choosing our songs earlier on. I think we're going to do Fifth Harmony, That's My Girl, for one of them. We'd do like a little set, but yes, please come, that would be great. Archie Kerr, a bit random. What is your opinion of the Supremes? I've recently discovered my love for them. I assume you're not talking about the witches from Coven. I don't know much about the Supremes, if I'm being honest. That's Diana Ross, isn't it? The Supremes? I'm pretty sure that's Diana Ross. So then, was that like Chain Reaction? I don't know. I will I will listen to some Supremes and get back to you. Jennifer Hughes, you sound like an extra sexy Eartha Kitt. Oh, yes, she did that. Rob Allen, I love the podcast. Your lyrical pattern of speech and frankly bizarre but delicious segues never fail to entertain. I could listen to Olympia's dulcet tones all day because, it goes on. Who the hell knows what topic will come out of that hat next? Well, I feel like this episode in particular has been completely all over the place, for which I am sorry. It's an auditory adventure for both presenter and listener. It's an auditory adventure, into the depths of hell. Emiraku, I'm not saying that correctly. When is Head's solo podcast coming out? Head's got a terrifying voice. Terrible as well. Awful. You can actually hear Head talking in one episode of This Wine Tastes Like Crap. When she said, I'm going to pee on your pillow. It's a very odd voice. It's very high-pitched and sort of, a bit, not unlike Barbara Pebbles. I don't really know what's happening there. Also, I want to do the drag race thing. I would enter this doll I made out of pantyhose a long time ago. Listen, Novympia's asshole race is going to be a thing. Going to make it happen. Kylie Terra, oh my god, thanks for responding to my comment. You're super sweet. Was totally not offended by your comment at all. Were you the one that so down for hearing your inquiring theories and hoping one of your topics someday would be on conspiracies? I think we had the conversation about Jesus, which is always, I know a lot about Jesus. I know nothing. So thanks for that. Diane Hall, San Diego, California here. Your podcast is fresh, different, and you are hilarious. Please do more. I'm doing one right now, Diane. How long have we got left? I'm going to go over on this one. I'll just nub it. Oh, we're already an hour and a minute. That's fine. Oh, God. When you click on more comments and it goes back to the bloody start. Now I've got to go through them all again. I wouldn't actually read them, though. Here we go. Camilla Basto. You pronounce Basto kind of right the second time. I don't know which one that was. Have fun if I do actually enter my cat. Oh, in the asshole race, you were going to enter your cat. Her name's Hanayo. Nobody can pronounce it right without 20 years of training. Hanayo. Good luck. Well, good luck to her, because if I can't say her name, she's going to be eliminated in the first round. Okay, I love knives. I love this shit. You're the only person I can stand to listen for a podcast. I feel like that's not going to last very long, though, because these are probably all going to go into the shitter. My Shadow Self. Olympia's Stream of Semi-Consciousness, Part 2. SoundCloud is not free, My Shadow Self. There is a subscription. And it's bloody expensive, so we're not going to be on there, but we are on iTunes. Holy shit, 0808. Olympia, what are your thoughts on Carl Pilkington? Who the bloody hell is that? Is he the one from An Idiot Abroad? Is that him, or is that the other guy? I have zero opinions on Carl Pilkington. If he's the one from An Idiot Abroad, I seem to remember finding him very dry. I suppose that's the whole point of his shtick. Are you going to watch the new movie Split? Absolutely. If it's by Shyamalan, I'm there. Ty Pennington. That's a bloody lie. You had every intention of talking about steps. Do you know what, Ty? I don't need that aggro, quite honestly, and I didn't intend on talking about steps. Truth be told, I really didn't, but I'm glad that it came up because I'm always ready to talk about steps because they were dog shit. Tom Hendy, Lisa Scott Lee is a national treasure, if not just being for the release of the trashy but addictive single Lately. I don't remember Lately. I was speaking to someone about Lisa Scott Lee and they mentioned Lately. I don't remember it. My favourite, I remember Too Far Gone. Anyway, Tom Hendy, you've made another comment. Olympia said my name. That's pretty cool. Why is that? Why does that make me feel good? It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but just to be acknowledged that I admire. Is that someone that you admire? I hope so. Otherwise, that's really embarrassing. I think you made a typo. Oh, you're the guy who made the Reddit page. Listen, guys, reddit.com/r, what does that mean? /Novympia. There's a Reddit page going on. You can have a chat about any of the creepy shit I've spoken about today. That'd be great. Laura Hurst wants to hear some conspiracy theories and weird shit. Well, I just went through them all, so there you go, Laura. Jack Maskell, I will gladly follow you into the woods and have you whisper to me, where's the marinara? Where is the marinara? Where the fuck is the marinara? I don't know where it is. I left it down. I set it down, so that's fine. As the world's biggest, disclaimer, probably not Steps fan, Emily finds my comments absolutely sacrilegious, and I don't think I can watch Novympia videos anymore. Emily, you and I both know that is a great big fat lie. steps were shit, so thank you for being here. The world hates Jim. When you said my name, I died. I'd love to hear your opinions on Grace and Frankie. What happened to you and Nova being on WoW Presents? Well, the world hates Jim. We love Grace and Frankie. I particularly like... is her name Brianna? I think it's... whose daughter is it? I can't remember if it's Grace or Frankie's daughter. God, I haven't watched them so long. This is the problem with Netflix shows. You watch them so quickly, and then by the time the next season rolls around, you can't remember anything. What happened to you and Nova being on WoW Presents? We're actually still on WoW Presents. They share our shit occasionally. When you're on it, you're just part of their playlist, really. So you don't necessarily have a huge part to do with the channel. We are in there. We're hoping to go to California at some point and maybe do some shit with them. I don't know. That would be nice, though. I would appreciate that. Davis Harding, I live right near Croydon. Holy shit. South London is bloody shite. I have so much pride. It's so dreadful, Davis. Get out. Jack Maskell. Haven't we spoken before? Finally a reason to get out of bed tomorrow for placement. Where's the placement? We want to know information. Victoria Wood. Oh, again. Is that the same one? Grandma Snatch Tea, aka Snore in Peace, is the shit. Snore in Peace is a great tea. This rose one is not so good. Nathan Gillen, I always imagine you holding your phone between your breasts. Another great podcast and a great Sylla impression. There's a lot of love for my Sylla, and rightfully so, because it is bloody good. Thank you, Nathan, for that. Box Twine, I'm 21. I didn't know Sylla Black was a singer until she died. Thanks for this, Olympia. You made cleaning my kitchen way more fun. I mean, cleaning the kitchen is diarrhea. It takes bloody long. But yes, that's the thing. I suppose, let's all be honest. Let's call a spade. You know her from Blind Date. Owen, join the Novympia cult, become an asshole, is the new family fuckfest. You can't say family fuckfest. How did that even come about? I am speaking like, that bird who reads the books really fast. Because I'm trying to get through all of them. I think I'm at the bottom now. I probably left everyone. What is this? Joshua Thomas, 2 dickheads in a cupboard coming soon to E4. Why have 2 people said 2 dickheads in a cupboard? I don't know what that refers to. Listen, I say a lot of stuff. I can't be held accountable for it. I don't remember. Eclectic, Sylla is rolling in her grave. Surprise, surprise. Sylla accent is amazing. Oh, you guys, stop it. It was dreadful. I know I'm a podcast late, but you should watch this documentary about the moron LDS cult. Moron cult? Fucking weirdos. Highlands of Scotland. Hello, Scotland. I don't know if I've seen that one. What does LDS stand for? I've moved on from cults at the moment, but I'll get back into them. Thanks for that. Aaron Gilchrist, by that violinist, do you mean Lettuce Rowbotham? Yes, I bloody did. Teeth and everything. Owen, I think you're thinking of the word acrostic. I can remember I was thinking about the word acrostic, but I can't remember what that was about either. This shit just comes out of me. And, I can't remember what I've said. So, yes, there was an acrostic in there. I don't remember what it was. Scarlett Harlot. I just love her so much. Regarding the cult, if you're already an arsehole before you join, would that qualify you for a higher position in that cult? Asking for a friend. You are an arsehole. So, either way, it doesn't even really matter. What are we even talking about, Scarlett? What are we talking about? You are such a hot piece of shit, so thanks for being here. Austin Taylor, I'd love to hear you talk about Drag Race conspiracies and scandals. Yes, actually, I might go through all the spoilers and conspiracy Reddit shit, because I don't really care about spoilers for Drag Race. It's all diarrhea. So I might do, actually. Yes, Tom Davis, can you upload these to Apple Podcasts? Is that the same as iTunes? So I can play them in the car, unless they're already on there and I can't find them. I think... Can you not already do that, though, if they're on the iTunes, like I'm a 50-year-old? Can't you just get them through the podcast app? I think that works. Blake Nickel, talk about that Novympia fandom. What? To be honest, I just want to hear you talk shit about me on video. Blake, talk shit about you. Is that mean? Do you want me to do like a Bianca Del Rio? Really, Queen? I don't want to be mean about Bianca Del Rio. That's fine. Even though I was. Hilm Joe Shields. Don't worry, we've reached the bottom of the video now. The comments. Now I just have an image of Nova lip syncing to Man I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain. Oh, because she had that. She looked like a country singer the other night. She looked like, what's her name? Caitlyn Jenner, country realness. Anyway, Eddie Urquhart. The Devil Wears Prada is basically my religion. Miranda's just fucking goals. Well, I mean... my esteemed colleague, Jacqueline Fourier. And the last comment is Libby the Ginge, who just says, yes. Oh my God, I got through all of them. I think next time I can't possibly go through all of them again if there's more than that. Leave a good... Oh, God, I just had a bit of a moment. Leave a good comment and I'll let you know. There was a lot in that, actually. I'm going to obviously, finish this up now because it's a bloody long one. There was a lot in there, and I'm sorry for that. I'm just going to click my knuckles if you can hear. Then that's fine. That's great. I've loved being here with you. I've loved spending this time with you. If you want to hear all that creepy shit, just rewind and start listening again. Please subscribe to our channel. It's youtube.com/Novympia, or you can just hit subscribe below. That'd be easier. If we're being honest, that would be easier. And you can get notifications on when I decide to go to bed and talk about creepy necrophiles with you. Okay, this has been great. Oh, yeah, find our social media as well. I'm on Instagram, Olympia Avalanche, and Twitter. Oh, hi Olympia. My Twitter handle's so cute. No one can ever find it. That's why I've got no followers on there. No one can ever find it. It's oh hi Olympia. Hi has 2 eyes. Okay, this has been cute. All right, I'm gonna go now. So, all right, shit. Go to bed. Bloody go to. Oh, I can't ever turn this off.